Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to the Ground Up. My name is C, and I'm the owner of CLM Custom Designs on Etsy as well as on YouTube. And let's get all the housekeeping out of the way. Please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss anything that I have coming up. I have weekly drops. So let's get into. Oh, let me also say this where Miss Megan is, there is a tornado watch. So we first of all appreciate her, despite what's going on outside, still making time for us. But because she is under a tornado watch, there may be some glitches with her internet. So please bear with us tonight. But hopefully things will go smoothly. So that being said, welcome Miss Megan to the show. Miss Megan, please introduce yourself and tell us what you do.
Sure, thank you. Yeah, if the house just like blows away from top of me, I might have to duck out, just so you know. I'm Meg Ernspiker, and I help people to reduce harmful chemicals in their home, to identify sources of those harmful chemicals that could be affecting them and their family, and then to get rid of them. So I partner with an awesome company called Norwex. So part of what I do is sales. I partner with them because they have a focus on products that are safer for you, your family, for your home, and for the environment. And I am 100% behind what I share of theirs. It's also part customer service, making sure people know how to use what they have, make sure it's right for their needs. And a lot of it is education, because unfortunately, there are a lot of harmful substances, or ones that we don't even know what they're going to do because they haven't been tested yet, that we bring into our home every day. People don't know about it. They can have negative effects. They can have health problems that are caused by that. And I've learned a lot about it. And so I love to share that with others, to arm them with that knowledge so that then they can protect their family from those effects.
Gotcha. So your business is really two-part. Yes, you are selling physical products, but you're also educating people. And I would
Absolutely.
imagine that that's important whether or not they buy from you or not, because
Oh,
you
yeah.
want people to be aware of harmful chemicals, especially, small children, pets, and things like that. Well, how
Yeah.
long have you been doing this?
So I am just coming up to my 2-year anniversary doing this. I really started taking it seriously last year. I had mentioned, we were talking before, we had some medical stuff, had birth of my twins. And so there was a lot in my first year that kind of held me back a little bit. But once we got past all that and things kind of settled, I really, really threw myself into it. I had taken a maternity leave. I took leave for some medical issues. And when that was done, I came right back into it because I loved it so much. Like, I missed it so much. So I really kind of feel like I've been doing it more like 6 or 8 months, although it's technically been 2 years.
Got you. So that speaks to some of the things we talk about. Sometimes you get into business and life happens or things happen. It doesn't mean that you totally throw it away. But
Right.
I love that you said you took maternity leave from your own business, right? We don't really think of that, right?
Yeah.
So you said you had to take a leave of absence from your own business, and that's all it was, just to kind of get things back in shape, and then you went back to your business. So I absolutely love that. We can't control life and what happens, but we can still have ourselves in a position where we're getting back to that. So
Right. Well, and isn't that one of the best parts of having your own small business, is you're your own boss, right? If I need to take a leave, I'm my own boss. I've just got to plan for it and I'm good to go.
yeah, and that's awesome though. Some people feel like when they have their own business, right, and they're just that's the only income that they have, that they can't stop no matter what. You know what I mean? And so they're stressing themselves out, dealing with this, dealing with family issues and all of that. But it's kind of really nice to hear you say, hey, sometimes you just got to take a break from that, deal with what you got to deal with, and like you said, that's the whole reason why you work for yourself. So when you need to do that, the availability is there. So I absolutely love that. So how did you actually get into this? I've never even heard of it. So are you like a neat
Well,
freak?
and
You love cleaning? Like, what is it?
no, and that's not really surprising. The company that I partner with, Norwex, their products are only in like 4% of homes in this
Wow.
country. So really, it's just kind of becoming known, and it's just exploding from there because people are more aware and they care more about what's in their products. The awareness is rising. Now, I went to a demonstration that I was invited to by a good friend of mine. It was like summer 2020. We were in lockdown. I just went to this Zoom demo because I was just desperate to hang out with some friends, right? I had no interest in Norwex whatsoever. I was a total skeptic. I didn't plan to be involved really. I just wanted to hang out with friends. And as I watched, I was just floored by what I saw, that natural products, microfiber especially, since you're not familiar with Norwex, I got to tell you, microfiber is like the main, it was what started it all. And the microfiber is just so much higher quality than anything you could find in like the grocery store or, Amazon or whatever you could get it from. And to see that these natural products were as effective as what I had been using, and find out that what I have been using can actually be harmful to me and my family, was just really eye-opening. So I started trying the products because I wanted to protect my family. Now, I do not love to clean. I have the twins and I have another toddler. So I've got 3 kids, ages 3 and under. Wow. And so my life is crazy. It's hectic. I don't have time to spend all day cleaning, right? And a lot of these products that I've tried with Norwex, they make cleaning faster and easier for me, in addition to being safer. And I just fell in love with them. And I was talking to everybody about them, to the point I had people ask me, "Are you a consultant?" I was like, no, you got me all wrong. Okay. I am no kind of salesperson. I'm not affiliated with it. I just love it. Then when I found out that I was pregnant with twins, I was like, okay, we may be needing another income stream here. Our bills are about to go up. And so I started thinking about the Norwex thing, and I was like, oh, I don't know. Can I do that? When you're looking for a job, or looking to make some money, you don't want to shell out a bunch to start a business, right? And as I'm sure you are well aware, starting a business where you're like producing a product and marketing it takes some time to build up, right? It really does. Any business takes some time to build up. But while I was trying to prepare for the arrival of my twins, I was like, can I be investing in a bunch of equipment to produce something? So I was weighing all my options and found out that I could start Norwex for $10, which was pretty crazy to me.
That's pretty awesome.
Right. Yeah. So that is all I ever paid to start my business. Now, they sent me all the products that I needed to get started. And I worked my business to earn it for free. You have up to 90 days to earn it for free. Okay. And that's what I did. I was so excited that I could start it like that. And like I said before, I don't know if I mentioned it once you were live, but we were talking earlier. I wasn't sure if I could keep it up, but I was like, okay, I can at least earn this for free. Mm-hmm. And then we'll see where it goes from there. And after I took those leaves of absence, I just came back into it 100% because I loved it so much. So I didn't expect to be here. I never expected to have this kind of business model or sell cleaning products. Like, I geek out about a toilet brush now because it's cool to me, right? I don't know. I would shake my head if I could see myself before, a couple of years ago, but it's worked out really well for me.
Well, I think what's important, and we certainly can hear it and see it when you talk about it, you have to love what you do. You have to love what you do, and you have to believe in whatever it is that you're putting out in front of people. So like you said, you have to try it first and make sure that it actually worked, because you certainly can't put your name or back a product that you don't think works, right? And then you have to enjoy what you're doing. And it is clear from when you talk about it, and like you said, you geek out over a toilet brush, right? So, yeah. That's important, because if you don't love it, you don't stay with it. You know what I mean? When life does happen, it's like, you put that to the wayside if it's something that you don't love doing. So I think that's important. And that's a nugget for anyone. Find something that you love. And like you said, it may not be something that you necessarily think about. That wasn't the avenue that you were going into, but opportunity is everywhere. You just have to be open to it, right?
Right. I was going to say, keep your eyes open, keep your options open.
Yeah, and definitely a low startup cost. I get it. You're a mom, and then you're about to be, have another set of twins. So you recognize that you need more income. So you don't want to be putting out income in order to get
Right.
more income. So
Yeah.
it makes absolutely good sense, from all of that. So is this something that you have to, is it something where you have to maintain a bunch of product in your home, or it's not that type of?
No, it's not. So I have a website that Norwex maintains that people can go on and order directly, and it ships from Norwex. I don't have to carry any kind of inventory. I do have some inventory at my house, I guess you could say, stuff that I've earned for free from Norwex that then I use as giveaways. So if someone books a demo with me, I'll send them some freebies, or I'll do giveaways. I have a private Facebook like customer group, customer community, and I'll do drawings on there and do giveaways. I also use that group for education. So I do have some stuff on hand that's not for my personal use, but it's not generally stuff that I've purchased, and it's not for resale. It's for giveaways.
Gotcha. Okay, so we already have a low startup cost. We already had that we don't have to stock products, two great things. So let's
Yeah.
actually talk about, is it are all these things organic? Are they, you know, what,
Okay.
let's talk a
Yeah, I
little
see
bit
what
about
you're
that.
saying.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say organic. They are many of the microfibers are Oikotex certified, or if they're not, they're going through the process to get them certified, which is a respected third-party testing that shows that there's no harmful chemicals in the product. And they go through 100% of the product and test everything to make sure it's free of those harmful chemicals. So the microfibers, they're working through on that. A lot of the other cleaners that Norwex has are enzyme-based cleaners. So instead of using, things like bleach, ammonia, lye, chemicals that can be harsh, that can have damaging effects, they use enzymes and natural citric acids or natural salts and things like that to accomplish those same goals. And like I mentioned, the microfiber is a big feature. And the microfiber, because it is so so fine. The fiber itself is really, really small, and really densely woven. It can actually remove bacteria from a surface with just the microfiber and water. So without using a chemical cleaner, like a cleaning spray or a disinfecting, like a reusable, not disposable, not reusable wipe, you're able to clean your home with microfiber and water, which is safer than having those chemicals on your surfaces, especially if you've got, little kids like I do. And it's cost effective because you're not buying a bunch of disposables that you're going to use once and then toss in the trash. So it's kind of a win-win there, and better for the environment because you're not
Yeah.
going through a bunch of disposables.
Yeah, reducing your carbon footprint, as my husband would say. So, in
Mhm.
the crafting world, I know we love microfiber, right? Because we're making cups and different things that we have to get the lid off of, and so
Mm.
we appreciate microfiber, but we have sometimes we use the microfiber and we think we're getting all the lint off, and it still seems to not necessarily stick to the cloth, but kind of
Mm.
go in the air. So we're always looking for a really good microfiber cloth that will clean the lint but then hold on to it so it's not everywhere on our surface
Yeah.
as we are creating our products. So that is definitely something that I know a lot of folks in the crafting world would
Yeah.
definitely be interested in. I mean, my ears perked up because I'm like, I'm always looking for a good microfiber towel. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, Serena says, yep, I was thinking about that cloth because, yeah, we're constantly trying to find something to reduce the lint in our workspaces because
Yeah.
lint is our enemy.
Yeah. Remind me afterwards, and I can send you some samples to try and see if it will
Oh,
work. Yeah.
awesome. That would be great because yes, we are definitely always looking for that. Okay. So
Yeah.
you've been doing this 2 years, but you say really hitting it hard about 6 to 9 months.
Yeah.
So what would you say were some of did you have any challenges getting started and getting your client base, or what did that look
I
like
would
for you?
Yeah, I would say one of my biggest challenges was myself. I told you at the beginning, I was like, no, I'm not a salesperson. I thought in order to run a successful business, I had to be pushy. I had to talk people into something. And I don't like making anyone feel uncomfortable. So that was something that did not appeal to me. But the consultant who had taught me about it, I didn't feel like she was pushy. So I was like, there's got to be a way to do this. So getting over my nervousness about starting kind of a non-traditional business like this, wondering what people would think, was a challenge. Honestly, having time where the kids are not climbing all over me is a challenge. I have to um, make time when they can spend some time with their grandparents or when my husband can be home. And just the last couple months, my Norwex income has made it so that my husband is able to take an extra day off work each week.
Nice.
And we do our volunteer work. We volunteer work in the morning. And then in the afternoon, evening, I'm working, and he has some quality time with the kids. So that's worked out really well. Finding the time has been a challenge, and keeping organized has been a challenge. I'm kind of a little bit of a scatterbrain, kind of a cluttered person, and I've had to uh, fine tune some, what would you say, routines or systems to help keep me focused and keep me from forgetting things dropping
Sure.
off my radar. So in a lot of ways, I've been my biggest challenge.
Okay, okay. I mean, like you said, with business, you have to be disciplined because yes, especially you're juggling business with family, with kids, with your volunteer work, and all those other things. So definitely, discipline is the key, and like you said, a routine, because when you get off that routine, things just kind of run amok.
Yeah.
So you got to kind of keep on the okay. So, and a lot of times we do stand in our way. We are our biggest enemies. I say that all the time. Like this past week, I just was like. I didn't feel like doing anything. I had hit a wall and I was like, I can't. I'm just done. I don't want to do anything business related.
Yeah,
And of course, and I didn't. But of course, this week now I will pay for that. But sometimes, you
it
just
happens.
it
When the motivation runs out, it's the discipline you got to fall back on, right? The
yeah.
commitment to your craft, to what you're doing, is what you end up falling back on, because the motivation is not always going to be there. You're not always going to feel like doing it, for
Yep.
sure.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Okay. So you've established, so what have you established? What have you found beneficial in terms of discipline, routine, or some type of nugget that you can give us that has helped you to stay on that course of routine or
Yeah.
organization? What have you found helpful?
One thing is having the routine of working on the same days each week. And I know that's not something that works for everybody. If you have, if this is kind of a side gig and you've got a regular kind of 9 to 5 or even a swing shift job where your hours are changing, that can
Hmm.
be hard. But for me, having the same days to know and get in like the right headspace, I guess, know what I'm expecting, has been helpful. I've invested in some software that helps me to organize things, schedule things out, send me reminders, um, and checklists. I'm a very list oriented person, very visual. And I've had some really good training from other consultants on my team that has really helped me to have the organization, the checklists and stuff, so that I don't have to waste my mental space worrying what I still have yet to do, if that makes sense. Like, no, I know that's done. I know that's done. And I can just like put it out of my mind and focus on the next thing has really made a huge difference for me. And keeping it where I can see it so I don't forget about it.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's a good point when you said invest in something that's going to make it easier for you because we want to focus on the meat and potatoes, not necessarily the minutia of the back
Yeah.
office stuff. So
Yes.
sometimes we need to purchase something or invest in something that makes the back office kind of run on its own a little bit so that we can focus on the meat and potatoes. And I think sometimes that's one of the last things that we do for whatever reason. We just feel like we can just do it all. Like, or it's that we don't want to put out that money initially because it's like we're trying to save everything and, whatever. But sometimes you have to put out a little bit or a lot of it in order to kind of make it on the other end. So I would say that too, because it can be very, very frustrating.
Yeah.
If you forget something on the back end, because That's the important stuff, right? That's what allows you to do the
Yeah.
front end, right? You got to
Yeah.
remember to do all of that stuff. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's really stressful when stuff falls through the cracks, you know? So if you can have a system set up, you can free up some of that mental space and not have to have so many embarrassing slip ups.
yeah, yeah. So you started doing COVID, like many of us opened our
Mhm.
business during COVID, right? And I
Mhm.
always say that though COVID brought a lot of negative things, it brought a lot of positive things too.
Mhm.
It opened a way for a lot of people to open small businesses. It kind of gave us a captive crowd, right? Because people
Yeah.
were home, they were
Yeah.
online, they were looking, like you said, for
Mhm.
interaction with people. So tell me how did social media or Zoom
Mhm.
or whatever your platform, how did that play into your business?
Yeah. So before COVID, a lot of the Norwex consultants, Norwex demos, they were local. You know, it'd be a demo or kind of like a class in a local home with a few different people. And when lockdown happened, it all went on Zoom, or most of it. Some of it's on Facebook. Zoom is kind of more my specialty. It's more what I'm
Mhm.
familiar with. But I could talk to people across the country. You know, we could have a group of people. This person's in California, this person's in Texas, this person's in Wisconsin, this person's in Florida. And we can all meet so many people and make so many connections. And then, you know, once that kind of education, once they take on that education, they're benefiting their family, they're benefiting their community because they can share those little nuggets of wisdom or what they've learned with other people even in their area. So it just has really it's just added another dimension to this kind of business that was we were limited before in a way that we're not anymore because we can do this online work.
Yeah, it definitely has expanded your reach because now you can have customers, like you said, in Canada, Dominican Republic, or whatever. Whereas before, you would have never thought or had a way of reaching those people. So yeah, I would definitely also have to say, but it also presents a challenge because those of us, even though people may not realize this, those of us like myself who don't want to be on camera, who don't really like social media, who's not, um, tech savvy, you know what I mean? It has also created a challenge on that end. So have you also
Mhm.
found it challenging dealing
Um,
with
it's been a learning curve for sure. I was very uncomfortable on camera starting out. I have gotten a whole lot more comfortable on camera because I've done it so much. It feels more like face to face, and I love meeting people and talking to people. So I just try to forget that there's a camera and remember that I'm talking to a person on the other end. I mentioned I don't do a whole lot of the stuff on Facebook. I do have like my customer group where I do education, I do demos, teaching people how to use different products, sharing information about different chemicals or ingredients of concern. Or recently there was a ban on some laundry products in New York. So that was something I shared with my group, like, hey, you know, check what's in your cabinet, you know, protect yourself. And that has been a learning curve. There's an algorithm to using Facebook that is kind of creates some hurdles to jump through. I haven't really fine tuned that. Um, but it's all skills, you know, and I have tried to reach out to training to improve my skills in that respect. There's a
yeah.
lot that I have learned.
Yeah. So yeah, I say the same thing. It can be difficult, it can be challenging, but you just take your time and kind of ease into it. And you don't have to have a huge presence. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be ridiculous or
Yeah.
overly complicated. You just kind of drop the seeds where you can, just make sure that people
Mhm.
know how to find you type of thing. But yeah, I would say it's definitely been a blessing and a curse at the same time because things are changing. You got to keep up with the changes. And if you have a
Right.
Facebook group, which I don't, and this is why I don't, because I don't, you have to service the group, you have to be out there, and that's time
Yeah.
and all of that. So yeah, I would
Yeah.
definitely say it's been a blessing and a curse. So, hey, can you think of anything that you did that you wish you would have done differently, or now that it's like, if I had to do it over again?
There have been a few things, and it's hard for me to say because, like I mentioned, I had some big challenges, unavoidable medical issues towards the beginning, that I do feel affected how quickly I was growing. I have a team that is with me now, and I love having my team that has joined me on this journey. And when I first started doing this, I had no interest in having any kind of team, but it has been so much fun. And I have met some amazing people that I might not have met if it weren't for them, coming to one of my demos and deciding to try it out, give it a try, and then join my team. Um, Made some really good friendships that I would not have otherwise. And I wish early on I had taken more advantage of the training that was available. I wasn't sure how it was going to go. And so I didn't want to put too much into it. I didn't want to invest time or money into something that I wasn't sure was going to work out. But then when I changed my attitude towards it, that I want to make this work, I'm really enjoying it. I'm going to make it work. And I started putting in the investment of the time, the money for training and things. That's when I really saw the growth take off. And so I feel like if I had started that sooner, invested sooner, then it could have grown more like that sooner, if that makes sense. That I had to get where I was ready to take on that investment. But if I had overcome my own mental hurdle sooner, I would be, I think, further along even than I am.
Yeah, I love that you said initially you started at the place of, is this going to work? And then you kind of evolved to, I'm going to make this work, right? Because business doesn't just work. It doesn't.
Right. Yeah.
And
it's the work that you put into it, the dedication.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You have to put it in. Whatever you put in is what's going to come back out. So
Yes.
definitely it doesn't. Sometimes though we look for things and it may be based on the fact that we see it working for other people. So we say, oh, that works. So yeah, I'm going to do that because I can see that works. And then you get into it and it doesn't work. And you're like, well, what happened? And it's because it may look easy from the outside when someone else is doing it, but it's a lot that goes into it, which is one reason why I do these segments, because I want people to know that yes, we are all entrepreneurs and we may make it look easy, but it's not. And I want you to know that there are some hard days, weeks, sometimes even months.
Emphatic, yes, absolutely.
When nothing goes right, like literally nothing goes right. You know what I mean? So I always say entrepreneurship is not for the faint of hearts. It's for the long run. It's not for a short time. You got to take it over the distance, and it's ebb and it flows. Sometimes you got really great highs, but sometimes you get really great lows. So
and I think there's that trap of comparison too. When you see someone who is doing well with any kind of business that you're interested in, if you're comparing yourself to them and thinking that you can do everything the same way they do and succeed, you're a different person. You have different strengths, you have different weaknesses, and it's going to be different for everybody. You need to find your own groove. Like, take inspiration from other people, try bits and pieces from what different people that you admire in your line of work. Take bits and pieces, try out, and find your own groove. And that's how you can grow, is by finding what your groove is going to be, rather than just trying to model everything off of somebody else's success.
Yeah, I would definitely have to agree, because it's only one you. So you can't be somebody else. What works for them may not work for you. Yet, like you said, you can take bits and pieces and all of that, but you do have to find out what is going to work for you. I would definitely have to agree with that. Okay, so you got this business, you're going, and you decide, I'm really going to put the work into it. And so you've obviously, like you said, you've seen some growth and success. Your husband now can take an extra day off. As a result of you working hard. I'm sure he appreciates that very, very much, to be able to do that. So where do you see your business now going? Where do you want to go? It's still young, right? 2 years in, but
yeah, Yeah, I would like to be able to have the freedom for more volunteer work, to increase our volunteer work. My husband is in construction, and there are some volunteer construction projects coming up, especially that he's very interested in participating in. And I would love for him to have the freedom to take some time off work and go really fully participate in that volunteering, because that's so fulfilling, you know. And I want him to be able to do that, and us have the flexibility for him to take that time off work, if that makes sense. That's a big goal of
Absolutely.
mine.
Yeah, yeah. So right
Yeah.
now, would you say you're doing your business full time? Or are you doing it part time? What would you say you're at right now?
Well, I would that's I guess it depends on what you're asking. It is my only job. So I'm not like doing part-time this, part-time something else. But my hours are part-time, if that makes sense.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Right. I got you. It makes sense. But I love that your goal is not necessarily for yourself. It's what
Yeah.
you would love to see your husband be able to do. Because a lot of times, you talk to people and it's like, I want to
Mhm.
do this. I want to travel. I want to do. But you
Yeah.
said you want to afford your husband an opportunity to do some things
Yeah.
that he would like to do. And I love that. And it reminds me of, I don't know if you know who Tabitha Brown is, but she's big on the internet. And that was one of the things she said, that she wanted her husband didn't like his job. He was a police officer
Mm.
and he didn't really want to do it, but he had to do it to support his family. So when she started in her business, she said, the one thing that I want to do is allow my husband to quit this job that he hates.
Yeah.
And he has since been able to do that. So I just love that when we're looking at what we can do for other people, and it benefits us because, of course, doing something you don't want to do,
Yeah.
you're much
Yeah.
happier when you can get away from that. You're much happier when you can do things that you want to do versus, not be able to do. So
And
I,
benefits the kids too. I feel like they're kind of young to really remember kind of what's going on, but as they grow, they can
sure.
see that our focus is not just on making money, but it's also giving back, and the benefits of applying yourself to something. And I feel like I'm happier at this job than I've ever been at any other job. And I'm a better person for my kids because I'm not coming home stressed, from a 9 to 5 somewhere else, but something that I really enjoy. I'm a better person for them. And to be able to have that freedom to focus more on volunteer work and things like that makes us happier people as well. And so I feel like even if they don't remember the exact, like have exact memories, they'll have this impression growing, going forward. And I intend to continue this business indefinitely. And so hopefully at that point, they will have more definite memories because
Sure.
it will have grown with us. And so it benefits me, it benefits my husband, my kids, my whole family can benefit by having that sort of trajectory in mind.
Absolutely. And you'll have pictures that you can show them of places you've been and things that you've done and different things like that. So they may not remember, but they'll have those things to help
Right.
them to appreciate. So I absolutely love that. I think when you get into business, you have to know the reason why you're getting into business. Because if
Yeah.
it's for money, you probably shouldn't, because we don't always make money, right? So,
Right. There are
maybe it's
seasons.
yeah, yeah. Maybe it's for freedom, flexibility, time with the kids. Those are things, and then the money will come. But
Right.
chasing the money is going to make you just as unhappy as if you were, going to a 9 to 5. So I think it's really important to really understand what your why is,
Yeah.
and what you're working towards. Because, like you said, when you're frustrated, when you lack the motivation, and then you look
Yeah.
at your why or your vision board or whatever it is to say, this is why I do this. This is why I'm pushing. Then,
That's
uh,
what helps you build that discipline and that commitment. Whereas if you're just basing it off of your paycheck alone, then if the paycheck gets a little slim, so there goes your motivation, there goes your discipline. But if you have something bigger that you're working towards, that can help you get through those hard seasons.
yeah, yeah. And I always say, having a good team, because there's no way that you can be in any type of business without a good team.
Right.
People who support you, whether it's, picking up daycare or, it doesn't have to necessarily be with their hands on in your business doing this, but it may be delivery, dropping something off at the post office, watching the kids, or, whatever it may be. But you need that supportive team, or just somebody who says, hey, you can do this, whatever it is that keeps you going.
Yeah.
You need to have a good team around you to do that. Bounce ideas off of and different things like that. Sometimes a shoulder to cry on, because we have moments like that where we absolutely need that as well. So I think that is important, and of course, family is always those ones who are sticking behind you. So I think that is absolutely awesome. And like you said, your team that you get to feed off of and you get to meet with and bounce ideas off of and things like that to make a stronger team. I think that is always, awesome. Plus, it also gives you an opportunity to have adult conversation. You're home with 3 little ones.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, adult conversation sometimes is a beautiful thing. I can remember those days.
Other than Blippi for a few minutes out of the day.
Exactly. So that's absolutely nice. That's awesome. And I'm sure with what you're doing, you're probably on a great trajectory to be able to obtain all those things that you want to. But let's tell the people how they can find you. So you talked about a little bit being on Facebook. Let's give them your Facebook, your IG, or whatever you got going on.
Okay. So on Facebook, my group, it's a private group that's Clean Green Cancel Toxic Chemicals. So you can find that. On Instagram, I'm the Easy Cleaning Spikers with a little dot between each word. You've got my email and my phone number there scrolling on the screen. That's another way. Just text or send me an email, ask for more information. That's probably the easiest way.
Gotcha. And if they just want to just get some basic information, can they Google, what did you say? Nora, what give me the name of the company?
Norwex.
Spell it for me.
You can. Norwex. It stands for Norwegian Experience.
Oh, okay. Kind of like the cruise ship.
Kind of like that. A couple of the co-founders were from Norway, and it's kind of based off of some, I guess, Norwegian kind of concepts or attitudes of being very environmentally friendly and things like that. Yeah. And also if someone wants to send me a text or email me and ask for a website, I have an educational website with some information that people can read over, a couple informational videos they can watch as well to learn a little bit more about what it's all about, basically.
Gotcha. I think that's awesome. Okay. So is there any last bit of tidbits or anything else that you want to share with the people, something you want to tell them?
I would say to not just assume everything that you use, everything you do is safe just because it's what you're used to. To take a look at what's around you and be willing to open your mind to other options, basically.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So just open your mind to other products. Yes, we are creatures of habit. So we're used to seeing the Clorox brands and all the other big things. And so it just things like, I know for me, and I'm totally guilty. I'm like, if it don't smell like bleach, it's not clean. I ain't smelling bleach, it's not clean. So I am definitely a culprit of that. I probably have destroyed my lungs and a whole bunch of other things as a result of using the bleach. So yeah, I definitely realized that I need to get away from that. So yeah, we have to open up our minds and realize what things are doing to us, and
it can be a hard mental shift.
Yeah, for years, from our grandparents telling us this is how you do this,
right?
And, over the years. So yeah.
And but for a small business owner, I'd say be willing to invest in yourself. Or if you want to start a small business, be willing to invest in yourself. Act as though you know you're going to succeed, and build yourself up that way.
Okay, I love that. Go into it knowing you're going to succeed. That's right, because if you don't believe in you, no one else certainly isn't.
Right.
So that's definitely the right mindset and mind frame. And like you said, it doesn't require, not every business requires a bunch. You said you got in for $10. So,
Yep.
if you're looking for something, look for things that have low startup. It may not be something that you want, it may not be something that you love, but look, if that's the thing, if you don't have any, you might not have a lot of resources and it's okay, but you're looking for something, you just have to look for things that don't require a lot of startup, and that's okay. You can
keep your mind open. Yeah.
Exactly. So that is absolutely awesome. And I'm sure Megan is looking to grow her team. So I will tell you guys, if you are looking for a business to start and you're looking for a low entry amount and you're looking for not having to carry inventory, sounds like that this might be the thing for you. At the same time, it's environmentally friendly. It's clean product, so it's good on your health. It's good for your kiddos and for your pets and things like that. So it may be something you want to look into. So give Meg a shout out. At the very least, check out her websites. I mean, I've looked at some of the videos and I have to say that I was impressed. It definitely showed me things that I hadn't seen before. So definitely just check it out. You might learn something at the very least, for sure.
And that's the most important thing to me, is that somebody can learn something.
Yeah, because it made me think about sometimes you're taking care of elderly people who have conditions that can't have that, but you still want to have a clean home, so you got to figure out what you can do. So these are some alternatives. So again, Meg, I thank you so much, and I'm so glad that the weather has held up for us. The internet has been great. I want you to be safe though, because you're still under the tornado watch. So definitely be careful. But I really appreciate you taking time out and away from your 3 babies.
I'm happy to. To take a break and have an adult conversation, just like you were saying.
I'm sure. But yeah, everybody, okay. Thanks so much for hanging out with us, Megs. Thank everybody in the chat who has hung out with us. If you have not already, please hit the subscribe button on my channel. There will be many more interviews to come. If you have not watched this live, you can always catch the replay on my channel. Just go ahead and do a search, CLM Custom Designs on YouTube. We are going to sign off. I'll see you guys back in another 2 weeks for a new interview, but I do drop a new video weekly. Meg, hang on. I'm going to end this broadcast.